Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DYOR Live. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media universe. So glad to be hosting another one of these great shows that Pedro and I do every day of the week. And I would turn over and point to Pedro, but he's not on camera right now. Uh, he says he's about to be there. Anyway, I might as well bring his microphone on so I don't forget to do that again. But ladies and gentlemen, it is March 5th, 2025. The theme of the show today is in 2 days, March 7th. The Whitehouse Crypto Council or Summit, whatever you want to call it, is going to announce the Bitcoin Reserve. And very interestingly enough, U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said the following. We're going to be making the announcement about the Bitcoin Reserve and how that's going to come about. But also, alts will be included. The altcoins will be included, and they'll be treated differently. A reserve, but different, which is probably a great plan. We don't want people just buying this type of stuff. AI Alpha Wolf says, can't hear over the waiting music, though, but the waiting music should not be on now. Let us know if you can hear us. All should be good now. Anyway, welcome to the show, Alpha Wolf. Really appreciate you joining us today. Pedro Garcia, my crypto chart analyst co-host. What's happening, my friend?
What's up, my friend and business partner and cohort? How are you?
Good. I'm reaping the benefits of this business partnership by wearing really old clothes and shoes with holes in them.
Hey, let's get that. Let's get you making money. I've got some stuff. And for my Canadian friends out here, what I'm about to bring up today is nothing against you. I'm just going to utilize what the market is giving me. And unfortunately, the way these governments are working with each other, it's going to put a lot of money in my pocket. And it's sad because it's like, man, this could have gone so awesomely, and it didn't.
But like we talked
Anyway,
about yesterday, Pedro, we talked about
yeah,
volatility in the markets yesterday.
yes,
And that volatility, I think, is going to continue the rest of this week as people speculate and FOMO into trades about
mhm,
what's coming on with the Bitcoin Reserve. I think the
yep,
market has it already priced in because otherwise it would be pumping like
yep.
crazy. And we know that really the U.S. government would have to buy billions and billions and billions of dollars worth to really make it pump. And we know that they're just not going to open up an
Do
account at
it.
Coinbase and say, all right, money printer on, just buy $10 billion at once. Market order 10 billion.
You know what I think they're going to do? I think they're actually going to create their own blockchain and then hold a uh their own wallet that they need to have and keep it offline. I think that would be the smartest thing. Like the US government get on the blockchain, have a secure system, have all the smartest blockchain developers come work for the US to develop a kick butt, like amazing blockchain, and then simply just say, hey, this is what we're doing. And we're holding it over here. And then we basically just shut it off until it's going to open up and buy. And there's got to be like 15 to 20 major people that we've put together in the crypto unity or in the community, in Congress or wherever entity that they're creating. And then they basically go in and do a multi-sig turn, buy what they need to buy, turn it off, put the stuff away. That's my view,
If
but
only
whatever.
it were that's so easy with government, Pedro. They'll create the most complicated structure to
So
ever
BS,
existed.
bro.
They'll have a million wallets with 0.001 BTC in it, and
It'd be so
someone
dumb.
will lose the single key that controls them all. And the
Yes.
password's going to be like password. and
Oh,
it'll have
one,
a
two, three, four.
and it'll have
Like,
a million wallets that someone has to hand enter the 12-word seed phrase in.
and they're gonna have to carry you down into a huge, huge cave where they're then gonna have to hit this little and it can only fit one person, right? One person with this elevator. And it goes about maybe a foot a minute. Boo! You remember that one scene in Austin Powers when he was like hit the button, it was like boo, and he's just like, and it's,
Or when he's
you know,
about to be rolled over by the steamroller, he's like,
that's what
no, and it's way down the road and going
it
1 foot an hour.
dude, it cracks me up. Anyways, I apologize. let's go ahead and check out BTC. And oh, let's shout out to a bunch of our community guys
Yes,
over
let's
there.
do that.
Let's Nah, I'm good. Um, what is this? Where we at? We've got Extreme Car Care in the house. What's up? Que pasa? Or is that no, I got the wrong one. Excuse me. That's from last week. That was yesterday. Sorry. Um, Here we go. We got AI Wolf. What's up? Good to see you. He's pretty much it. Maybe be scared off everything because of the Canadian stuff I did yesterday. Maybe I shouldn't have done
Yeah, that's
that. If I piss
that's
off a
it,
bunch of
Pedro.
people.
You scared them off.
I know they're just like, oh my goodness, we can't stand the DYOR people anymore. But I think they like us. I was talking to a friend of mine. Again, he was Canadian. And I said, dude, what is going on? This is crazy. And he was sitting there going like, well, I think you just pissed people off. I think the government pissed a bunch of people off. I said, bro, it's reciprocal tariffs. We're it's not like we're raising stuff up. It's just we're saying if you're gonna do it to us, we're gonna do it to you. Is this fair?
Exactly, exactly. And let's not forget, especially for all you rumblers out there that are watching us, thank you very much.
Yep,
Thank you
yep,
for
yep,
joining
yep.
us. Make sure everyone shares this show with someone they
Yeah,
like and love,
please, please, please,
or they
please hit
hate.
the
But
like
as
button.
long as we get another viewer, we'll be happy. But as that screen points out in back of you, Pedro,
Yes.
uh, see if I can bring it up on solo here. Oh, the system is going so slow.
I could just do this right here.
Right
Like,
here, I got you here.
all right.
Although some reason it's still stretching it out. Anyway, the Canadian tariffs here, ladies and gentlemen, that are listed next to Pedro. Cheese 245%, butter 298%, chickens 238, eggs 163%, barley 160%, sugar 265%. It goes on and on. Fish products, lumber, shoes. These are all tariffs that Canada charges the US, and we were not charging you guys.
At all.
Zero. It doesn't make any sense for that. When
And
we
not
had
for
when we negotiated that, in Canada they call it CUSMA, in the US they call it USMCA now or something like that. The old NAFTA agreement.
yep, NAFTA.
So you Canadians that
We
are getting bent out of shape and booing our national anthem, I can see protesting with your politicians and stuff about tariffs and stuff like that. But when you boo another country's national anthem, you take it to heart, and there's going to be more fights on the ice.
Oh, dude, bro. I'm honestly, man. I actually go to the. We have a local ice hockey team out here, and we'll have Canadians, come down and support the team and stuff like that. And I'm honestly like, I go literally because of the fights, and I don't even like. I'm not joking, bro. I don't even know much about hockey. Okay, but it's so entertaining, bro. The fighting and I mean, dude, the energy is amazing. Everything, yeah. I mean, dude, it's probably 10 times more than football, dude. It is absolutely. It's like the Raiders against the Niners every single time. Oh well, back in the day when you had Battle of the Bays, right? The Raiders against the Niners, bro. Every single hockey game is like that. It is just like I'm like, whoo, what is going on, right? Like it's fun, dude. I'm honestly like anytime you have a Canadian, I'm a person is I don't go try to confront. I'm just gonna watch and see what happens here. And I'm gonna see if I can trade it. But like in the same sense, man, it's gonna be intense, dude. Like because I mean, dude, are you at all getting is your wife getting any type of backlash on this stuff? I would assume, man. I mean, it's getting
Well,
crazy.
like everybody knows, I spend half my time in Kanukistan here, and the general talk is unhappiness with the U.S. and unhappiness with the way the process went, and
Mhm.
President Trump just kind
Okay.
of announcing this out of nowhere, just kind of like blam, tariffs.
Well, no, he didn't.
Yeah, he did a
What
couple
do you
of weeks ago. He just said we're going to tariff Canada and Mexico, and then
no,
everyone here in Canada is like this. What you talking about, Willis?
but no, he talked about this 2 years ago when he gave his layout. He says, I'm going to help America by tariffing and help with the trade balance. He had a whole entire video series and plan that he was going to do. This
But
is not
but that's not how
anything
diplomacy
abnormal.
works. Diplomacy
Okay,
is not
fair,
conducted in the press. Diplomacy is when he gets into
fair.
office, he calls the ambassador and says, "Hey, look, this is our plan. And this is what
Yeah,
we want out of it." And the Canadian guy comes back and says, "That plan's horrible, but let me bring it back to the boss." And then they say, "Okay." The boss says, "Let's meet in the middle somewhere." And they do
yeah,
negotiations and diplomacy, which they have
agreed.
done. They do,
In the
every
past.
country does it
Yeah,
all the time. And
yeah.
in fact, I think Mrs. Striking has educated me on them because she's reading the
Mhm.
Art of the Deal by Mr. Trump. Is that this is following
It's
his
normal.
pattern of
Yep,
coming in hard, his
yep,
pattern of continuously negotiating, always trying to get a better deal no matter what.
yep.
And in
Start off
fact,
low.
I heard that I did sold an armored vehicle to a developer in New York a long ago that a deal went south um, with the Trump organization and unrelated to the armored vehicle, I might add. Another issue he was having. And he said it's very difficult doing business with the Trump organization because when you have a deal, you think it's done and you have a deal, but they constantly renegotiate all the time. As soon as they think they have a little up on you or a little leverage against you, they use that to renegotiate the deal. And he said, so it's very difficult to count on cash flow. It's very difficult to count on anything going your way. He said the only thing you can count on is inconsistency, and that's kind of what the pattern that he's following now. He's Carmen Crypto in the house. Thank you for joining us. Happy Hump Day, Chumbalones. Yes, it is Happy Hump Day. That is for sure. Let's get some musica in the background here. We'll get Livin' Lo-Fi. How about that?
Oh yeah, let's get some living lo-fi. Shout out to our people over on we got I don't know Nav the Nobody. Let's go. Good to have you. NN Nav or Navi, what's up? How
Nav
you
the
doing?
Nobody coming to us on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. A
What's
new
up?
viewer.
Good to
Let us
have
know how
you.
you found us.
Yeah, absolutely. Please let us know how you found us. Let us know what your thoughts are on the show. We are a crypto news talk wonk, um, funny looking, and try to be funny uh, people here. And we kind of go over charts as well as kind of fundamentals and kind of go back and forth. AI Wolf is the man. I would agree with that. He is the man. All good, brothers. Awesome, awesome. Let us know also, where are you from in the world? Are you coming from the States or are you somewhere abroad among my brothers around the world? Let me know what's going on. Um, Also, if you guys over there at Rumble, please jump in real quick. Say what's up to us. We really would appreciate it. Any type of connections that we can have with you guys talking on the live chat always helps us out immensely with our small show. We're trying to grow it, we're trying to build it, and we need your guys' help. So I'd appreciate if you guys could just say, "Hey, what's up? I don't like you because you got a big nose," and I'd be like, "You're right. You're right." You're like, "I don't like guys who have long hair." Me too. I just grow this because I think it's it can frustrate people, so it's great.
Mine's getting
Anyways,
there too here, Pedro.
yeah, you
Almost
were,
the
dude.
Pedro length.
Oh, yeah, almost there,
Another
baby.
three
Almost, bro.
years, 4 years.
Tell Miss Striking's gonna just be like, "All right, dude, time to
She
go."
she likes it. She says you have hockey hair.
Oh, there you go, dude. All righty, there you
Yeah,
go.
this side you can
Tommy's
see it
getting
better.
long hair.
Cool. All I got to do is pull someone's shirt over them from the back and give them the uppercut a few times.
Bam, 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 bam. Remember, uppercut, elbow, elbow, uppercut, up. That's what I learned. That's what such a friend of mine. He was like, uppercut, elbow, uppercut, elbow. Anyways, okay.
I'll do the Indiana Jones and dudes all making moves and all that, and I'll just pull.
Oh yeah, he's all.
Everyone cheers. Hey!
Hey, hey.
So welcome everybody.
America.
Thanks for joining us on Rumble. We got a good show here.
Absolutely.
Informative, all that
Alright.
kind of stuff. But right now, Pedro, what is going on with the B and the T and the C?
Alrighty, sir. So Bitcoin it actually closed green yesterday, with a decent amount of volume. So this is a good sign that we potentially could go up. But we hit a 4-hour zone here that was established with a lot of volume at this level, literally to a T here. Last night I was looking at it and just checking things out, and I said, "Ooh, this looks nice." You got that 89 sitting right here. As we were coming up, and I said, "This thing is definitely going to go down here." So I probably when we start to do our app and stuff like that, I will immediately, like, once I see a good trade, boom, I'll sit there and say, "All right, guys, look, we're going short between 90, 90,969 to 91,206. You can see our stop is going to be above that 100 period moving average, and we should come back and tap that 20 to 8 period moving average. And sure enough, that's exactly what BTC did, and it would have been a good little trade for us in the evening to sit there, wake up to some money. You're like, yay! That's always a fun thing. You wake up to money in your pocket, and you're like, yes, that's awesome.
Usually I
right?
wake up to bills.
Sometimes but isn't that all of us? I mean, if you're in the modern world, unless you're out in you know, the rainforest or somewhere else, then you live off the land. But even then, every day you're fighting to survive. Every day you got to cook, you got to go out and find your fruit, and you gotta make it happen. Anyways, so let's jump back here real quick. So we're watching BTC starting to come up. The only thing I don't like is this morning, as we're moving in Tuesday, you can see here that we didn't really put in any demand wick, so nothing really to defend this position of going up. And then we hit an area here that I was looking at. And you can see that this area came in, tapped in, and really didn't put much of. I mean, it put more.
What time frame you got up there, Pedro?
This is a 4-hour time zone.
4-hour chart on Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. 4-hour tour.
4-hour tour. Yeah. Yes, it was supposed to be a 3-hour tour. Oh, you're talking about Gilligan's Island.
Yeah. 3-hour.
3-hour tour.
Not sure what that millionaire is doing on that little shitty boat, but.
Oh man, dude, Ginger was my goodness, dude. I still got a soft heart for Southern girls because of Ginger.
Yeah, you're right, Nave. Yeah, Nav the nobody says the BTC chart looks like BTC has given us the finger, because that's what it does before the market makers pull it out, drop the chart on you. If you're long, and if you're short, they pump it.
Yeah,
because they know they're watching out for Nav. They're like, what's he up to? All right, he's long. Let's drop the market, flush him.
Oh, dang.
Remember, it's always someone else's fault. Just always remember that.
So
I'm joking.
Just to give you a heads up, so as I'm looking at this, I'm watching this kind of move in a way that's indicative of a New York.
We have limits in singing, ladies and gentlemen. We have limits.
Here we go. It's moving in a way that I would think it's going to sell off. So we saw the sell off here. We saw the pullback off the 8. I'm looking to really see if it's going to come down. I'm really expecting it to come down into this level here, that 83 area again. The fact that last night, the fact that this morning really kind of put in with a good amount of volume doesn't show good things for us continuing up. We hit a nice little area here of a 4-hour supply zone, and so I'm basically now kind of waiting for us to see what's happening here. Oh, when you go to the higher time frames, you can see here, or excuse me, lower time frames, so you can see there wasn't a lot of demand wicks as we were coming in until at least we got down to here. And even here, it's been traded through. So I'm expecting us to come down into here as this is moving forward. Ultimately, it's going to kind of depend on where the volume is coming in and how it starts to sell off. So we'll see what happens here on this next 2-hour candle, which we just started. So we'll see what happens. Boom, we got 11, and then this one ends at 30. It's 1 o'clock. Okay, so what time is it right now? No, it just started. It's just, I was gonna say, what am I saying? It just started, so we got about 2 hours to see what's gonna happen here. So it's kind of that wait and see. The trade was already this morning where we just sold off, now continuing, but I just don't trust this rally here. Just as you can see, we're watching a lot of, well, actually, if this is every 2 hours, we got a ton of volume coming in right there.
Volume good. That means something's up. Something is up when the volume starts moving in.
Here we are.
BNB, so easy, your grandma can buy it. Prevail swap.
There you go.
It looks like there's a new... Alpha Wolf always has a new shill. Always says he's always worried. Like I always say, he's the hardest working man in crypto. He's always got something new coming. And now we've got Prevail swap.
There you go. Prevail swap. May it prevail.
May it prevail.
May it prevail in this market because it's a rough market in these streets here. I want to jump over here real quick and look at
BTC to
Ethereum.
19,000. Let's go.
Oh man, that would honestly, I think that would be the best thing for the reserve. In all honesty, to
Well,
see it
everybody
just
would buy it. I
drop.
mean, that El Salvador would be taking an extra $5 million and buying it.
Yeah, everybody be mortgaging. Like, where can they get money to buy it at those levels? This is where dry powder. So Ethereum is starting to see a sell off here. Um, Boom. Again, BNB selling off. Let's see, XRP selling off. Yeah. So again, BTC is going to be selling off here in a second. You got Doge pushing, selling off, selling off, selling off, selling off.
Everything's selling off except Bitcoin?
No, Bitcoin is just stagnant right now. Oh, no, just did the sell off. Here you go. Yeah, like I said.
What time frame is that chart?
This is 5 minutes. So I'm just cutting through everything real quick so I can see this is
Oh, I thought
BTC.
you were looking at a daily chart or an 8 hour. I was like, what? What you talking about?
You're, oh my. You're like, this is, nah, I'm just looking at it. Well, remember, it starts on the 5 and then continues throughout the time. So you want to see how the volume is stepping in. Back here, I said I didn't like how this was starting because we're going consolidating, but we saw a lot of volume coming in. So we should see a sell-off probably here for about an hour or so, down to these lower levels here as we're talking about it. So let's go ahead here real quick. Unfortunately, you're going to take over the show because the little boys room is like telling me I gotta go. So I will be back for a biome. I got a bio break here.
All
I
right,
will be
ladies
back
and
in a
gentlemen,
minute.
if you're watching on
Sorry.
YouTube, I'm going to pop a commercial in here while I do it. Just let it run and watch it, please, if you get one, because I'm not going to say anything important in the next 30 seconds anyway. Oh, YouTube, why do you disappoint me like this? Monetization not even enabled. All right, ladies and germs, what do we have going on here? I've got the Bitcoin chart. The Bitcoin chart off. I'm on a quest right now. I'm on a quest. I'm getting back into the futures markets. If you've watched the show the past couple of days or weeks, you know that before, when I came out of university, I was in the futures markets and the commodities trading markets. And then I went into manufacturing business for 27 years. And then crypto got me back into the finances and back into that. And for a long time, I sat here with Pedro and was busy with the production of the show and trying to line up guests and all that type of stuff, or dealing with guests. And I didn't really listen to him. And I didn't absorb what he was teaching me. But over the past few months, I've been slowly getting back into it. And so I'm on a goal right now with my futures account to make $100 a day. Just nothing big, not trying to hit it out of the park or get rich or die trying. Just $100 a day. And so I've got Bitcoin on the back here. And these are the things that we're going to showcase when our new TradeWave app comes out. And that is the trades that we're looking at or either working. And this morning, I woke up to this here. We're at this low. And if you believe in flags and all that type of stuff, which do work a lot, it pumped like crazy. And so I made my $100. I made my $100 and I was very happy about that. Actually, I made 50 and I was on the way to making 100 and once again made an error and hit the wrong button and sold half my position instead of setting a stop. Nice. But then the runner, actually I sold 75% of my position and the other 25% went up all the way from this little, it was like right about there. And then it went all the way up to here where I had set my final stop and it stopped out. So I made $100. It was nice. It was nice. Had I not made that mistake, I would have made like $300. But that's the That's it. But that's my goal. I'm getting slowly back into trading. I'm totally not an expert. I make rookie mistakes. I did futures trading when it was open outcry, and we're in the trading pits and doing that type of stuff. I was what's called a clerk and a spotter and a runner, and I did every type of administrative job you could possibly imagine in the futures markets on the trading floors, except being the wealthy trader in the in the ring. But anyway, the options pit that we worked operates a lot like the futures, the perpetuals markets here, and that type of stuff. And so a lot of the things I learned kind of went over. So I'm picking this up quickly. I'm trying to get back at it, and I'm trying to do the important thing of getting the emotion out of this. And Mrs. Striking sees the emotion when I make a mistake. And when you even we talk about this being, you have to treat it like a business. You have to follow your trading rules, follow your risk. And when you make a mistake, you can't get mad. You can't let emotion come into it on the back end either. You have to make the trade up front and either win or lose, and it's just business. And if it's anything else, then really it's gambling for you. So you got to work that emotion out. I've got it worked mostly out, but not completely. Not completely. Anyway, let me hold on a sec. We've got the master shill going on here. Did you say you can swap ETH for any Solana token on Prevail multi-chain swap? Wow. AI Wolf and Nav. You can really, it's like you're having a conversation that sounds like a shill. Anyway, we don't mind. We love the engagement here, ladies and gentlemen. Let me bring up the article I had here. In topic of today's show. Pedro is bio break. Anyway, this Friday, Bitcoin reserve announcements coming, says Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, the former CEO and current chairman emeritus of Cantor Fitzgerald, one of the largest trading houses and financial firms on the planet. And what they said, it's very interesting. And it's this thing, you can't, let me move myself here. It says, Bitcoin is set to hold a unique status within the crypto reserve, while altcoins will be treated positively, but differently. So what does that mean? What does that mean? I'd like your speculation out here. Nav says, yes, shamelessly. Well, there's a price for this, Nav. This stuff isn't free of us spewing your shill up here. All you got to do is share it with other people that come watch our show. And if you're for whatever project you has, make some bank, you hit us with a big fat super chat. How's that? And if it doesn't, well, it was a good try. Anyway, so let's get to the heart of it here. The Pros Crypto Strategic Reserve is supposed to be announced Friday. Remember, we spoke, and in the Crypto Swamp Creatures, our sister show here, spoke about David Sachs, the crypto czar, trying to get a Bitcoin reserve through. And if they have to have Congress approve it, how it's likely not going to happen, and then they'll trade away for it. Chris and Justin may be wrong. They may be wrong. Or the Republicans have already traded something to the Democrats to get them to agree to it. Anyway, Ludnick said that a Bitcoin strategic reserve is something the president's interested in. See, interested in, not done deal. He spoke about it during the campaign trail. I think you're going to see it executed on Friday. Well, there's a big difference in that statement. Big difference. So if it's executed, that means he's doing it in a method that doesn't need Congress's approval, which means he's going to get the Treasury to somehow buy it without Congress's approval, which is difficult. It's difficult to do when you change the role of the Treasury. If the Treasury is not authorized to buy assets to hold that are not fiat currencies, then people can sue, and other government agencies can ignore it and that type of stuff. Because if you remember something called the Chevron defense Supreme Court ruling, in which, and oh, I'm going to get it wrong, not the name of it, but the Supreme Court ruled that the EPA had overstepped its congressional approval by making regulations not specifically granted to the power to do so. Congress says this agency is set up to make regulations regarding this, and then the agency kind of slowly expands and starts making regulations about this, and no one checks them. Well, finally, someone checked the EPA, and the Supreme Court said, nope. You went outside the bounds of that. And so people are going to sue, saying the Treasury went outside the bounds of it. However, if they push this thing through Congress, they'll get it through the House, no problem. But the Senate will be problematic because they need 60 votes in the Senate to pass everything easily. And that's not likely to happen. And so they'll have to trade something with the Democrats to get it through. saw the best meme yesterday. All the Democrats holding the signs up. People have been changing the signs and sending them around on YouTube or on Twitter. They're fantastic. Let's see if they had anything other comments. Letnick discussed the status of other cryptocurrencies earmarked for U.S. strategic reserve, stating that Bitcoin is one thing, and then the other currencies, the other crypto tokens, I think will be treated differently, positively, but differently. Positively, but differently. In a Sunday post on his Truth Social account, U.S. Donald Trump said the U.S. would create a crypto reserve, including XRP. We all saw that. The super pump happened. And the next day, gave it up. It's funny on let's see, Friday's show, we said, are we at the Bitcoin bottom? Are we at the Bitcoin bottom? And the next show on Monday, or on Sunday, it's super pumped. We had the super pump. It was like, yes, we're at the bottom. It's going up. Bitcoin reserve, yada, yada, yada. It's going to go to 100 million. But did it? No. Nope, it didn't. We gave it all back the next day. In fact, you can see it. Let me bring the chart back here. This one. So you can see here very clearly. Myself up here. This was pump day. Trump announces it here. Tom went long about here and FOMO'd into it and made just a few bucks up here. Once again, I'm not making big trades or life-changing money or anything like that. And then 2 days later, we gave it all back. Buy the rumor, sell the news, all that type of stuff going on. I think I hear Mr. Pedro starting to come back here.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right. I've been just talking about the Bitcoin reserve announcement coming up on Friday and kind of speculating on how they're going to treat the altcoins. Because they said they're going to treat the altcoins positively but differently.
Mm-hmm.
Positively but differently. Whatever that means. Who knows? Ladies and gentlemen? I think that the headline here is altcoins. Yes, Bitcoin is set to hold a unique status with the crypto reserve, said Letnick, while altcoins will be treated positively but differently.
It's very smart to do that. The idea of putting everything in one basket, I think, is silly. Just simply because some of the stuff that's actually happening in crypto, we just don't know 100% what is actually going to be around. I mean, remember the .com bubble? Yahoo was the primary favorite, as well as Internet Explorer, right? Which was Microsoft. Microsoft obviously stuck around, but the actual system itself really wasn't the best. So for me, I think having a separation, I think Bitcoin will probably just be like the old grandfather, just always be there. Will it be 100% like have the ability and its blockchain to really upscale and do what it needs to do? I don't think it will. Just intrinsically, you have so many people there and the consensus that needs to happen. I don't see the majority of people really saying we're going to really like speed this up and change the fundamental nature of Bitcoin. So I think to be able to sit there and delineate between Bitcoin and then all the alts, I think it's important versus putting it all in one giant basket. So I think it's smart. So
Pedro is just looking for another news article, and Decrypt changed their front page, so I lost the article. It was another article about the strategic reserve. But this headline, we can't skip this one. Brother of Australian Olympic breakdancer Reagan, we all remember her, charged with crypto fraud. The Australian regulator says Brendan Gunn was that's their real name. Ray Gunn and Brendan was charged with one count of dealing with money suspected to be proceeds of a crime. Australian President Ray Gunn is previously best known for acting like a kangaroo. And it says Brendan Gunn was charged with one count of dealing with money that could series blah blah blah. He's going to dealt with 2 bank checks that contains proceeds from 4 investments amounts totaling $181,000, who deposited funds for currency conversion to cryptocurrency, and he put it in the bank. Oops.
Ouch. That's kind of red-handed there in a sense.
He's probably like, well, they can track everything in Bitcoin on the blockchain now. Let's try some good old-fashioned cash. But he had to write a check.
That's funny, dude.
Got 1 year for fraud and 18 years for wire fraud.
That is so funny, dude.
I just love this industry. It brings out the best in people, and it brings out the worst in people. And just as I say that, ladies and gentlemen, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Canada. Well, at least it's Australia now. Welcome, Crypto Mike, to the show. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it. We had a nice discussion earlier about Canada versus the U.S. and just how pissed off everybody in Canada is. And how almost nobody in Canada realizes the amount of tariffs that they charge the U.S. on all of things like eggs, cheese, chicken, barley, wheat, corn, lumber, all, and not just like 10%, 15%, 200%.
Well, I think what's also really important is, so I was talking to a friend of mine.
Hold on. Sorry, Pedro. I thought I did this, but I'm going to redo it here. 200%.
200%.
I wanted the special effect.
I like it a lot. I think what's really important, I think this really needs to be kind of established. All right. So a friend of mine was like, why are you guys okay with this? And I said, well, let's put it like this. In America, and in places in America, we have these things called squatters. And what's interesting is that the laws that protect them were actually originally used to protect the people who are down and out. Like originally, there was these laws that were basically said, hey, if somebody is falling on hard times, a landlord can't just push them out, right? Like that's not okay. And so we established laws here in America in certain states saying, look, if they fall on hard times, you got to give them at least like 3 to 6 months, and they have to show. And then over the time, the laws kind of got changed a little and a little and a little over, let's say, a period of 10 years, 10, 12 years, to the point where now you have these people called squatters, where they literally go into a house that's empty, that somebody actually owns. They pay a mortgage on it. Maybe it's in between, one person and somebody owns, like, say, 15, 16 houses. Okay. And somebody could come into those house. Somebody can come into the house, squat, literally sit. They're not paying rent. And if that landlord doesn't catch that within, I think it's like 3 months, and they're getting, not 3 months, excuse me, like 3 weeks or a month, and they're getting mailed to that house now,
It's their
they can,
residence.
it is their residence. And so this is happening a lot. And a law that was originally intended to really help out the less fortunate, right, during a time of need, became a law that basically allowed criminals to be able to just take advantage of the system. Now, I'm not calling Canada any of those. What I'm saying, though, is the laws in which was established with the NAFTA deal was established to help Canada really build and get going and pumping, and allow that the economy there to really just flourish. And so America was willing to go ahead and say, you know what, we're willing to work with you guys definitely and help out. But over a period in time, we have seen, where it's an unfair practice, where it's like you guys are raising. And I want you to understand the severity that we're in here, America and Canada. In America, our GDP, right? A lot of it is internal. We create money within each other, and we do a lot of business externally with also other countries around the world. In Canada, and our biggest trade partners are literally Canada and Mexico, right?
Yep.
And so I want to make sure you understand how this can hurt you guys and how it's really not going to affect us as Americans. 19% of your GDP is literally based off of how you trade here in America. Your businesses, the tax revenue that is created, and everything that correlates, it is based off of our goods and services coming into America or coming into Canada, and you guys basically taxing and doing what you do. 19% of your GDP is literally based off of what we bring into your country. On your end coming into America, it is
America.
1%. I won't say America. I'm saying this is my brothers over there and my sisters over there. And I want you to understand the geopolitical situation that is happening, that your leaders are trying to rally you up and hurt you. And you don't understand the full view of what's actually happening. And we're talking 19% of your GDP, you're cutting off. And you have no respective other employment to get. So a lot of people are going to be hurt by doing this. And this scares me because I got friends over there that are already kind of starting to feel it where they do business. And so also Mexico, it's a very
Yeah. Check, check, 1, 2, ladies and gentlemen. Check, check, check.
Can you guys hear us? Can you guys hear us? Let me pull up.
Everything on my end says the sound is going out, but I went over to check the Rumble Studio and said, "Oops, something was wrong." And I refreshed the page, and when it refreshed the page, it brought up the default settings and not my sound settings. They should be able to hear us now. There's no
Okay.
yeah, I can hear it on the stream I'm on.
Okay.
I don't have any
So
idea how long the sound was out, so if you guys could let us know what the last thing you heard
yeah.
was.
So literally what I was saying, I'll rephrase it so you guys can. I'll make this quick. I want you guys to understand one thing. Like America doesn't. We're not trying to unjustly increase tariffs on the rest of the world. I want you to understand that America, much like the original laws that were given to people falling on hard times here in America for landlords, there were laws that were literally stated that in America, if you are in a home and you're falling on hard times, that landlord cannot kick you out. Right, he has to sit there, and you can show them. There's obviously protocols you have to follow and things like that, but ultimately, is to protect you, protect the the renter. Okay. And these are important laws, right? But what happened was the laws were then taken advantage of by squatters. And in a
You're on, Pedro.
okay. And so I think it's really important to understand if you look at the circumstance. Earlier, I've talked about like most Canadians and most Mexicans don't realize how much your country sells to America and what we buy. We're talking 19% in Canada and about 30, I think 20 or 30% in Mexico. And so by your country allowing you to get upset, and again, I think this is actually coming from another country, right? Because they're playing a great game and they're playing a smart war,
Smart PR game, yes, a PR war.
a PR war, i.e., also financial war that's actually being established. And Trump is playing back now. The United States is now playing back. We're in the game and we're being serious about it. So this is what we're seeing here. And I want the Canadian people to understand that, remember, other countries that don't hold the Western values want to see the trade partnership fall apart. And one thing to add into that, that same nation won't allow you as an individual and your country to do business over there. Will not allow you. As a business, you cannot. They
Pedro, are
only
you allowed to
allow
open
their
a
business.
business in China?
No,
Nope.
I cannot.
No,
I
you're not.
cannot.
You have to
Unless I
partner
am a
with a local
citizen there.
company. You can't open a business in China.
I cannot. I cannot sit there. I have to partner, and business and jobs have to be established and ran through those countries that are partnered with that country. So this is really important to understand. And all we're doing is just reciprocating what is being done to us. Keyword reciprocal. And many other countries are sitting there going, oh, snaps, America woke up. And they're saying, we're going to do business with America. And we're very much going to placate towards what's actually happening, because as Americans start to get more like nominal wages to actually increase and to see your dollar buy more goods and services from what is happening. And again, I've said it will take about a year to two, but you'll start to feel it in about 9 months to a year. But you will see this. Americans, your dollar will buy, instead of 3 chicken legs, 4 chicken legs, and if not 5 or 6. Okay, this is going to happen like within 6 months to, I wouldn't say 6 months, but about a year or two from now, because many other nations are already agreeing to do business here in America, establish businesses in America, and also hire and employ for a long period of time in America, which generates income in America. And any type of money that we're losing from other tariff goods and services will be immediately absorbed as well as catapulted for our betterment, on behalf of many of these other nations that are already deciding to partner with America. It is important for you guys to understand the full story and not the narrative that your country and media sources are giving you. And it is important to understand that. I'm not the most eloquent, but I see people are about to be hurt, man. And I honestly am kind of scared. I'm not scared as in like, oh, I'm scared, but I'm scared. I hurt for the potential hurt that other people are gonna feel. And I don't want them to feel that. I want them to do well. I want Canadians to do well. I want Mexicans to do well. Remember, I'm half Mexican. I'm first generation, literally a dreamer baby. My father came over illegally, not the best thing. Met my mother, got married. Then from there, I was produced. Yay, Pedro, right? And then from there, um, you know, like my family. It's a long story short. I want to see good on both ends, but it's got to be fair on both ends. Not taking advantage, much like the squatter situation, where the laws were meant originally for good things, and now have been taken advantage and abused.
Pedro, have you ever seen the videos where the squatter removal teams go in?
No, no, no,
Oh,
no. I hate.
they're excellent. What they do
Oh,
is if
really?
you've got a squatter in your apartment, there's all kinds of different ones depending on the state. But if you've got a squatter in your joint, you hire these people to go be squatters with them, and they just go live in the house too with them, and bring in their big stereo and crank their stereo all night. And they're like, "Well, I'm a
Oh my
squatter too,"
goodness!
and they get their mail sent there. Yeah, to Tom Smith at 123 Smith Street. Here I am. I moved in, and they're like, "Well, this is our
Shut up,
house." And they're
dude.
like, "No, this is my house.
My mail's
My
here.
yeah, this is my house." And they just play music and they smoke and they just drive, and they're like, "How much for the little girl?" And that kind of stuff, and it drives the squatters
Ugh,
out.
ugh. I don't know if I'm cool with that. I mean, but I get it. I mean, I do get it. Like that idea of, hey, we got to push them out. Oh my goodness, I didn't know that, dude.
In other shows, they're just
It's
guys
a
walk
brilliant
in with
business.
with sticks, and they're like, "It's you got 1 hour to get yourself out." And depending on the state, obviously, and the state laws, that you can do that, but not in other states. Like in California, it's
Yeah.
difficult, but in Arizona, New Mexico, it's like, "Look, meth." And the guys run out. Slam the door. You're out.
It's nuts, dude. That's absolutely crazy.
But
It's
one
interesting.
guy got so mad that he decided that he's going to renovate the house, and so when the squatters left, it was I forget what state it was in, but it was one state which even though they leave, you have to let them back in because they can go to work and all that. You can't just change the
Yeah.
locks on them. Some states, you
Again.
just as soon as they're out, you can say that they don't live there. But so the
Yeah.
guy knocked the house down. He figured it was going to take a year to get them out. And he said, "You know what? I'm just going to renovate the place anyway. It's an old shitty joint." So while the guy was at work, they just came and knocked the house down, pulled a building permit to knock it down for renovation. And then a good dude came back. There's no house.
Oh
So,
man,
well,
see
I'm going to
that.
rebuild it. So you're out.
But I also think all that stuff. I mean, I can only imagine the guy had. Listen, again, I'm not for abuse on both ends. Like there's a way to handle this appropriately and
Let me.
with.
There is a
Go ahead.
way, but when someone breaks into your house and says they live there,
Yeah.
I've got a 44 Magnum that says they've got 10 seconds to leave. And in some states, even that's illegal. They're like, well, they're in they're a resident. They moved in. They've got papers which they made up on their own. And it's handwritten. I am a resident here.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't.
if they live there and they're late on their rent, that's a different story. But if they
Right. And
broke
this
into the
is
house and
yeah.
are trashing your house and are meth heads, then you just send in the boys and give them the old number six.
Well, I'm more or less what this circumstances is, and in context is somebody was living in the house, and then over a period in time, they they fell on some hard times and just became comfortable with not, you know, and I can understand that. I've been there before, right? So I get it. Um, but there is I don't, and again, this is complicated. You can't put a simple answer for a complicated situation, especially between nations. But I want America to, or I
Oh, thank
want,
God, Jesus has showed up. Sorry to interrupt you.
um, I think
Jesus
there's
has
some.
done evictions in San Francisco. Look at that.
Oh, really? You can do? Dang.
Good morning, Chumbalones and Chumbalinas. We've been talking
Yeah. Let's talk about
politics,
so let's
tariffs the past half hour.
So let's talk about the dollar and everything else going up. So the fact is that we're watching the dollar push down, which is kind of a good thing for America in relationship to establishing businesses here and people wanting to do business here and buying our goods and services. Again, this is stuff that we've talked about back in January, back in December-ish. Remember July, or no, excuse me, November, December, January, we were going over all of this stuff during Technical Tuesday, so you guys can know what was happening here. We talked about again, where's crude oil? Where you at? I've talked about crude oil going down into our lower levels here of the 58 dollar to that 52. And again, I think we're going to range once we come down into these levels here. We'll see it come back up and range between that 60 and 55 area, and we'll draw that out once we get there. But these are just some of the things that we've been talking about over literally the last 2 months, 3 months, and you guys can go back and look at the videos. It's very clear. I made it very clear the trades that you could take with these, and we need to find out. We need to have a like a thing of my charting, and that people can go back and look at it, because I sound like I'm very arrogant here, but I'm not. I just these are things that you could see happening, right? And
No,
I'm
what
in the
we'll do
chart.
is part of the app. We'll have the ability to take some screenshots and post them, so you can scroll through them and show history and stuff like that. Welcome to the show,
Yeah.
Hacks 35. It says Pi Network
Mhm.
Reserve. I don't think they're gonna I don't think they're gonna buy a lot of Pi Network for the research. But it's a good rumor to spread. Let's just send that one all over the internet. And
It's funny, dude. Um, Excuse me, I didn't mean to burp in your guys' ear. Forgive me. So I just think it's really important to look at the full scope of things and to really see it from all ends, right? From the Canadian side, I get it. You guys are losing out on a lot of money. But here's the thing: you can create more money, right? You could easily take
yeah,
care of
don't
that.
go back into the tariffs. We've covered
There is, yeah. So,
that.
and that's where I want to sit there and say is there's a way for you to take care of that 19% that loss by literally just creating free trade between us, and just through more production, it will help out. So I think it's super important to be looking at that. Okay, let's check out. And I thought was really interesting. Some of the meme coins we're starting to see kind of pump here, which I thought was really interesting. I thought we were going to come down a little bit further down, but we're not. At least
Hold on,
right
I
now,
thought you
we're
just
not.
had MicroStrategy up. Sorry.
Oh, I did have MicroStrategy. I was just checking it out because I was looking
Oh,
at us
I saw
hitting
it
that
change,
weekly.
so I got the graphic up for that. Never mind.
Yeah, no, no, no. Yeah, I was just quickly looking at it because I've been wanting to short it and it's pulling back up. So, um, anyways, we'll talk about that later down the road. But we're pulling up, and I'm looking to be shorting like around the 326 area with either a put or just a short in itself. So we'll see what happens.
Hacks, welcome to the
Uh,
show. Thanks for joining us. Let us know how you
Definitely,
found us, whether you got a referral from someone or whether the YouTube algorithm gave it to you. Whatever it is, just let us know.
absolutely. All right.
Crypto Mike says we had free trade. Was it Trudeau that messed it up? No, no, no. It was
No,
not.
no,
You guys have
no.
been
It's back.
protectionist of those industries for a long time. In fact, the dairy, as you probably know, the dairy industry out where you live is kind of like the mafia, and they control the votes. Um, Control the most. They have an outsized influence on the voting patterns in the prairies, as the middle of Canada is known, and so the politicians coddle up to them, just like in the presidential race in the U.S. They always talk about Iowa being important, and as a result, the corn industry gets all sorts of subsidies from the U.S. government
A
because they
lot.
promise all sorts of things to win Iowa, that first presidential primary.
You know what's interesting is that as crypto really starts to kind of bring in a lot of people, and a lot of people in crypto aren't city folk. They're not. Like, a lot of us are like just more libertarians and kind of out in the woods type of people, right? And just kind of like and more independent than anything, right? And I wonder as people start to come into America, with the new gold standard, where are they looking to go? And I think they're actually going to be going to um, a lot of the swing states, because those are the areas that where it's not a lot of people. And anyways, we'll see. We'll talk about that down the road. I just think it's real interesting to see what's actually happening here that we're watching. And by the way, what did you think about the the address last night?
We haven't spoken about that at all. I cannot believe it, Pedro. All I know is that it was awesome theater. I don't mean the
Theater.
content of the whole thing was awesome, but I
The,
mean
the,
it was
man, Dean,
awesome theater. I have
bro.
never even in Trump's other four, I have never seen
Yes.
the president get up there and just get up there and say, "You guys are idiots and losers, and everyone else is fantastic." But I have to, and I didn't like that. I, that's a big deal. That's a big speech. The, the
Yeah.
the image of a statesman should be paramount there.
Yeah.
And
You're,
when the
but
Democrats didn't stand for that poor kid that had cancer,
yo, that made me enraged, especially what Melania Trump is doing for foster kids, which most people don't even know, which
right?
is epic. That's actually the real. You want to stop crime in America? Take care of your foster kids. I
But
promise you. There's.
but
Go
that
ahead.
the
Keep going.
dad's holding this kid up. The kid's got brain
Bro.
damage from brain cancer. It's all fucked up. And the Secret Service gives him an honorary agent role and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know it's staged, it's theater, it's whatever, but it's
Right.
a great effing story, and we need those
Yeah.
things. We need stories like that.
Yep.
And the Democrats are down there like this, and they're all checking their phones, and they show them on there. And I was like, "This, you MFers,
Yeah.
you
Like,
the Democrats, Pedro, are doing the best they can to lose the young vote, or as many
bro,
votes as possible. They're
I
doing
don't
the best they
understand it.
can."
Part of me was almost literally thinking to myself, what is the game? Because I think they're playing the long haul. And I'm trying to think, if you have a one-sided crazy like Republican side, because the people are only I mean, my buddy who is literally the common sense liberal, right, was just like, that is bullshit. And I'm like, no, bro, I need you on a central like Democrat. Like, you need to stay there. Like, you don't understand how important it is to have both sides of the. You need to have the liberal side. You need to have the conservative side. You need both. It's important. And to see that happen, it almost feels like this is absolutely like a diabolical scheme that is happening. That I am like sitting there going like, wait, that makes no sense. Why wouldn't you get at least look at that and go, damn, all right, yeah, that's what's up. That's cool.
And
Like,
that used
that's
to
real
happen
cool.
in the past
Yeah.
when they would announce a special guest or something like that. People would
Yep.
all everyone would stand up, and the shenanigans, all those idiots holding the signs. You know what? You know what? There's no rule that says that the president has to stand up in front of the entire Congress and give the speech.
Yeah.
He can literally just write it out and send it to Congress. This is the State of the Union. Or
Yeah.
he can just give an address to his three best friends and say this is the State of the Union. Nothing says he has to give it in front of the full United States legislature and the Supreme Court and the military generals. I bet you next year he says this is Republicans only. Sorry, will not have.
You know,
And I'll be fine with it because you don't have those idiots holding signs up, which the memes are the best now. Someone took
bro.
all the signs and said, put an arrow and said the R word next to them,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm as into but as an independent, I'm saddened. Like, I'm saddened for our union. I'm saddened for the American people that the Democrats the far left has invaded the people, that it's like you're destroying America. Like, you're freaking destroying America. Do you get that? By your staunch views that you are unwilling to bend and actually have real dialogue, you are destroying America. I'm not for transgender. But if you're 19, 20, 21, 22, and you're an adult, listen, if you want to change your sex, you can change your sex. Don't touch the children. I was literally on a I was literally on a space with a gentleman who is a Democrat. He lives up where I live. He's a smart guy. I love and so half the stuff he says I can't stand. I think I'm like, nah, bro. But half the other stuff I agree. And one of the things that he talks about, I actually went on there and I go, the fact that you said, and by the way, he wants to come on our show. So I really want to bring him on.
Let's beat him up.
Yeah, no, not beat him up. He'll be great. And I agree with some of his stuff, and some of his stuff I don't agree. But one of the things I did agree with him was he said, "Leave the children alone. Like you're sterilizing these children. Like, and these kids who are 10, 12, 15 years old that want to get sex changed, and you're doing it behind the parents' back is not okay." And I sat there and I said, "Absolutely. Like this is asinine, crazy stuff." And this is the part that blew me away is when that man jumped up. I think he was in the Green Party. Um, he was just blatantly calling out Trump. And I wasn't even calling Trump, he was just being a douche. And I was like, man, this is not making you and your constituents look good. Like it's almost like the child who refuses to go along with the family when you're having Thanksgiving dinner. And it's just like, okay, now we just got to put you out. Like
It,
you're too far.
it was shameful. They picked the oldest black man they could find to stand up and do that, thinking that, well, no one's going to shout down the oldest black man in Congress. And sure enough, Mike Johnson gets up there, and as soon as I started, he grabbed the mic. I'm like, "Oh, here it comes!
Mhm.
You're out, buddy. 1, 2, 3 strikes. You're out." Anyway, I got the picture up that I was talking about. That was
Yeah, go.
one of the funny ones here.
Bro, this is not.
I'm this. I'm this. I'm this. I'm this. And then the one lady says, "I didn't get my sign."
Dude, it saddens my heart. But it makes trading really good. I have to admit. It really does. I mean, it is this market is ripe with volatility and movement, and it is making traders a lot of money. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he goes, "Man, I hope this time never goes away." Um, like that is exactly what I am. I hope that we can have these movements without the craziness. It's a part of me was like, I don't want this, but because the market is moving so dramatically and I'm getting these huge moves. I mean, bro, I'll put it like this on the 15 or on the 5 minute chart yesterday. Okay. Every 5 minute candle was almost 15 to 18% of the daily move. Like, I was just like, it was so big. I was just like, dude, I was literally clearing, going like, I mean, I was hitting my first target within the first 2 minutes. Right? I'm like, let's go, baby. Like, let's go. Like it was so part of me is like, I don't want it to end, but then I want it to end because it's like, yo, you're destroying our country. We're destroying, like, it's not good. And y'all need to come to the table. And what's the guy? I forget his name, the great compromiser, Tiff O'Neill.
Tip
We need
O'Neill.
more Tip. What's up?
Tip TIP. Tip
Oh,
O'Neill.
yeah, Tip O'Neill. Sorry, Tip O'Neill was. We need more Tip O'Neills. It's just outright. We need people to come to the table, communicate, and 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 learn to compromise again. We need this. Anyways, guys, I apologize. We're having. Actually, we're not that bad. We got about 6 to 8 people. We've been staying over on Rumble, and then we've got a what do we have over here on we're
I don't
not
know. It's
bad,
not.
dude.
I'm
It's
still
not bad.
using.
It's
I'm
not
still
good.
using the Rumble Studio interface, and so I'm not happy with the integration with YouTube.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
we might
something's
just
up with it. That's all I know. And I opened it when I asked Rumble support. Since I pay for Rumble, I get priority support. Normally, they're back to me right away with answers about things. And I asked them. I said, "Hey, what's up with this?" I have not heard back from them at all.
mm,
I have a feeling I know the answer.
it might be smarter to play two things here. Jesus the Lord says, I hate that whole agenda being pushed to kids here in schools too. Don't get it. Sexual preferences should be something they have control over. They are way too young to be thinking about that, all of that. And then Nav says, yeah, I Canada. I'm just having
I'm
some
having a separate conversation with him. Did you use the new
oh,
link I sent you, Pedro?
I did not. Maybe I should.
It's
You
good.
did send it to me, and then
I
I just didn't
just as a
have it
backstory,
ready to
sometimes it sounds like Pedro's reading at the third grade level. Trust me, he's a smart guy, but he doesn't like to wear his glasses because he
I
buys the.
refuse because here's the thing. My nose is different, okay, and it sits really hard right here. And then I have to when I have contacts, whatever, right? I don't. I just need them for reading, so I have to put on contacts. And half the time, I start to get like these things right here. Anyways, so
Anyway, so I sent
yeah,
the comment section. We have a separate program for that runs them, and I
yeah.
sent him a new version of it that doubled the size of the text so he could read. Because he's getting old, old,
I am
old,
not getting old.
old.
I still look like I'm 35, dude. 30. Somebody was even saying, you kind of look like you're 32, 33. I was like, I do.
Now, if we
Keep
got
it
a
young.
bunch of listeners from Ontario, we got guys that
Yeah.
have watched the show from Thunder Bay, from the Sioux. I'm an American, but I'm in Ottawa because Mrs. Striking is a Canadian. And the other day we had someone on from a couple of people from Mississauga, Toronto, uh, Uxbridge, London.
Oh, that's
Geez,
why I
I
didn't do
can't
it.
remember who's our
When I
regular
did click
viewer
on
from
it, it didn't
London.
work.
London, Ontario. They call it fake London, we call it.
So it actually didn't work for me. That's why I did click on it and nothing was populating, which I don't understand why. So we'll
Probably
talk
just have
about
to
that
wait
later.
for something new to come up. So Carmen says, "Great show, guys. I have to leave. Rumble fam, keep sharing the show. Let's go." Then see now I'm reading like you. Jeez, great show, guys. I have to leave. Rumble family, keep sharing the show. Let's get onto the creators program.
Whoop, 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 whoop. All right, guys. So let's check it out here real quick. I think we got a couple things that it's really there's a few things that I sent Tom on um, X a thing about like where and what is actually happening. And I'm actually going to pull it up here real quick because I think it's really interesting. I'm looking at a play here, and right now it's not the most. Where are you at, Tommy?
Hmm, your feed's nice.
Huh?
Nothing.
What's that?
No, nothing. Yeah, I'm going to take your screen off there while you find it, and so we don't dox feed or whatever. Let me know when to bring your
Oh
screen
no.
back on.
Okay. Boom.
Nav, nope. Carmen is not single. Brian would be very unhappy with you.
Brian is a very big
I've
man.
no, I've it's I know that because I've known Carmen for almost 5 years now. Hardest working woman in crypto, soon to be the hardest working person in crypto. Carmen has an announcement coming up about a new role for herself, so we'll make that that role public when it's time. And no, she's not becoming the crypto czar.
Dude, that would be so dope if something like that, dude. I'd just be like, what?
Carmen Crypto, the crypto czar, today on DYOR
Yeah.
Live.
All right, we're ready. Go ahead. So there's a lot of stuff going on in crypto right now. And I actually had a friend of mine, and I had bought a little bit of Link. I actually sold it. But um, one of the things I just find really interesting is that if you see like Coinbase 50 Index, Grayscale Trust, you have the World Liberty Finance, which is Trump stuff, and then Made in America, which again is following in the line of uh, the crypto reserve. And the one that fits all of them is Link. And I thought this was so interesting because when you look at Link here, give me 1 second.
Chainlink?
Yeah, yeah, chain link. It came down into our area here over the last few days. And so I've talked about that 13 to $12 mark, and it came down here, and we saw a good amount of volume, but it's still, I mean, cheap comparative to what the highs were sitting around $50. Right now it's sitting about 16. And so I can definitely see, and Chainlink, it has so many good benefits. So I'm looking at a play here and I'm going, so we're starting to show a little bit of strength and volume, especially yesterday, right? When it came down into our area here of that 15, or excuse me, the 13 to $12 mark area here. So we saw it, and I'm going to take this off here real quick. Boom. That was resistance that then became support, and then it fell through that support, and now probably act as more resistance, but we'll talk about that later. But I like Chainlink here for kind of a long-term play here, just simply because it meets all the metrics, and it's in pretty much everybody's portfolio. And more importantly, it's really the only what's the word I want to use? The only one that meets all requirements that we're seeing, and will just be part of the. And I don't know if Link has been just overlooked because of, maybe it's just more quiet than anything, and it's a protocol. It has a lot of good benefits that it does. It's kind of like the link between all the other protocols. It has I forget the full details. I need to reread their white paper again. But it's a good system. So I saw that and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be looking for, there's got to be more projects like this that meet all of the requirements, and that potentially could be another other things being brought into the the why am I forgetting the name of what I'm talking about? Um the reserve, the federal or the crypto reserve. And so I think we'll see Link definitely. It's definitely cheap, comparatively, right, compared to all the other ones. Much like when I was talking about ADA, how cheap it was, right, comparative to all the other projects market cap wise. And
Yeah.
so, America is definitely going to get its best bang for its buck. Um, Link is similar in that venue. So I'm just looking at things that we could potentially take advantage of and make money. Obviously, Luna is not it. Um, but where is it? I thought I clicked on it.
The
Link,
Luna
there you
gets me to snork.
Yes, he did snort. Um, but like, here's the thing. I think what's really interesting is it's still got a lot of resistance. It's got to fight through, or a lot of, yeah, resistance. So we've got the 8 and the 20 here. You've got this big major supply area sitting right here. So it's a potential play that we could play, and kind of get in on an early play here. So I'm just giving you guys heads up, to be looking at Link. It is putting in some pretty good demand wicks, as you can see as we're coming down. We're putting in demand wicks, and we bounce off the 100 period moving average sitting in it. So we'll see what happens here at the end of the week. But I'm definitely looking to be
For
taking
new
part
people,
in
this
Link.
wick right here is called a demand wick.
Oh
In
yeah,
for the time period means it traded down there, but there was demand, thus the name demand, and it pushed
people
it
want to
back
buy it.
up.
Yeah,
Demand wick. Well, you'll hear us
yeah,
say that a lot here.
or buyer wicks. Yeah, buyer wicks, seller wicks are like, buyer wicks are demand wicks where people bought, as Tom said, and supply wicks or seller wicks are where people sold off their position. So I call them seller wicks. And so it's just, I think these are plays here that are very significant in crypto. One of the ones I was definitely looking at was Monero. Now, Monero again is not what. Um, uh, there you
We haven't
are.
talked Monero in a while.
Yeah, I'm still got my eye on it. I still check it. Let me pull it up here. Go. Sorry about that, guys.
The great
So
graphics
Monero,
machine says it's at
ooh,
$224, $4 billion market cap.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So
I've
the gap,
never really messed with Monero.
really. Well, remember how we talked about it back a few, it was I think it was the beginning of the year when the case was dropped from them, calling them a terrorist organization, right? And then I think that was around November. I think it was in November. Yeah, because it shot up, and then I told Zach, I said, Zach, don't buy it at these high levels. Wait for the pullback here. And so I want to, where are my lines? Maybe I have the US dollar. There it is. Yeah, this is where it was. I told Zach, I said, don't buy it down here. Wait for it to come back down into that 171 area and then see it start to climb up. So it's one of the ones I'm definitely looking at. Monero, what is the, obviously Chainlinks has how much was it? 10
Chainlink was
billion
10
market
billion
cap?
for its market cap.
Yeah. And so what's Monero's market cap?
4.1 billion.
Yeah, I think this is a smart one, really to play the opposite end of what basically what Chainlink is versus the um, Monero play here as well. It's something that I'm definitely looking at. So when I'm watching these plays here, I want to gauge because you can see here that that weekly 8 has been actually kind of holding it. Actually, it's probably monthly. So the monthly 8 is probably been playing here. So we want to see it come down again. Boom, and we're coming up to this area. This area of supply of that 290 or 289 to 264 area for Monero. I think we're going to see a sell off there and then come back down, tap that 170 or the 188 area, and then see it continue up into these higher levels. So I'm kind of waiting for that. I hope Zach Humphreys was able to buy down at these lower levels here. Um, Again, this is, what is that? That would have been 15%. So about 30% increase in his portfolio if he would have bought down in these levels here, at least off of Monero. Here we are. And it's funny is in crypto, that was in 1, 2, 3, basically 4 months, which is a huge deal in TradFi. But in crypto, we're like, ah, only 30%, right? Like we can be a bit snobs.
I had my mic
Okay.
off there. I had some nice sweet
Oh.
comments, but 30%. Psh, I fired that guy.
I know, right? Especially in crypto, too. Oh, there it is. Oh my goodness, I can see it. Have a good day, lads. Got got go, but but it's been a great stream. Awesome.
Thanks
Well,
for joining us,
Nav.
Nav from Ontario.
Yep, Nav,
We-
what's
We'll
up,
give you
brother?
we'll give you the
Oh,
give you the old Canada there.
Canada.
Thanks for joining us. Anyway, Pedro, I'm gonna have to get going here soon too.
All right, no worries, no worries. Let's check on Bitcoin as we leave, as we depart. Also, uh, we're seeing a little bit of a pump in Shiba Inu. I told you that I'm definitely kind of looking at these lower levels here. So it was really interesting to see the pump happen. And so it's something that I'm definitely looking at. Bitcoin here is,
Do me a favor
we're
and bring up
selling.
the minute chart here.
I hate the minute, dude.
I know,
It's
but
just,
you gotta do me a salad here. So
okay, 1 minute. All right.
squeeze it a little, compress it a little. There you go. So right here, let me bring me up so I can be bigger. Mm. And it turned my screen on. Right here, I'm watching it during the show here, and watching this come up, and it started to come back here, and it formed this nice. I drew a nice little flag here. I'm watching the volume. Volume's still good, and I'm like, it's gonna break. It's gonna break out right about here. I was a little early, but I was like, break out about here, and I'm like, I'm really trying to follow my rules that I set down for trading, and that is to make sure I'm focused so I don't miss something stupid. And so I got back to talking to you and stuff like that and getting on with the show. And then someone else posts in another room. They're like, "Man, I just ripped it on that. It busted out." And I was like, "God, I missed the trade. God damn it, I missed it." But of course, as we all know, there's always another trade. But when you were off using the facilities, I was talking about my quest to get back in the game here, and and start trying to make some money every day that I trade. If Carmen comes back on, tell her I said hi. As a friend, of course. I ain't no home wrecker.
I know, home wrecker. That's awesome. Dude, I love that. I absolutely love how big that is. That's what she said. Oh, I'm sorry.
You are fake news.
You are fake news. Um, but you can say, yeah, that's great, dude. Carmen, before you go, are you single? I joke, I joke. um, that's funny. That's actually real funny. So yeah, market went up. I don't like the 1 minute. I think the 1 minute is.
It's
I mean, unless you're
it's
scalping.
total 10-minute trades. That's it. Maybe less. 2-minute to
Yeah.
10-minute trades.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And you know what, Pedro, you always taught, not you always, but you teach me to make sure I'm on the right side of a trade. And so
Mhm.
if I have something that I kind of figured out and I'm watching it on the 15 or 30-minute or 1 hour trade, what I'll do is a lot of times I'll put the 1 minute on, especially now that I have Bookmap and you can see the big bubbles going by and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Just to see where the trend is for the past, X period of time. And if you watch, because as you teach me and everybody else here, the 1 minute feeds the 5 minute, the 5 minute feeds the 15 minute, 15 minute. So if you want to be on the right side of the trade all the time, watch the lower time frames and if they're changing, be aware of what your trade. If your trade is based on the higher time frame, be aware of that. And so I watch the lower ones, and then of course you see a little pattern develop in the 1 minute, and you're like, "Oh, I'm going to scalp that bitch." Next thing you know, you make $10.
That is funny. That's actually really funny. Give me one. I think I lost. Where is my learning? Okay, let me pull this up here real quick. I gotta actually close this here real quick. And all right, man. Well, that's the closing music there. Good times. Glad to have you guys. I know it was a bit of a political talk today, but it was really interesting. And yeah,
Doing the white man overbite.
do the white man overbite, dude. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for another great show. Had a good time today. Jesus, the Lord and Savior, thanks for joining us today. For the Bible
Absolutely. Thank you.
Tomorrow is Thursday, the 6th. We'll be on the air same time. Talking tomorrow, trying to get some more information. Working all my contacts in the White House. I have so many. To try and get an update on what's going to be said on Friday at the Bitcoin Strategery Conference. And we'll try to get some advanced information for that. In other words, tomorrow we're just going to bullshit about the markets again. So be here and join us for that. We'd really appreciate it. And a shout out to everyone on Rumble. We had a good crowd over there again today on Rumble. You've been doing us a solid there, more than YouTube does. We'd really appreciate it. So everybody, thanks for joining us today. As always, this is Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst here. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media universe. We will be here tomorrow. So see ya.